So are landlords actually greedy, or is this a narrative that we've been told, and by who? I have my suspicions, but let's discuss this. Let's deep dive into the numbers, because it's only the numbers that's going to let us know whether landlords are actually greedy, or we just think they're greedy because we assume landlords are making a killing off the back of tenants and hard workers in society. So in this video, we're going to discuss how much landlords earn, their mortgage costs, taxes that they pay, and whether or not they're actually making easy money as portrayed by the media and on social media. Or is it the truth that they're just breaking even and they're just surviving like everyone else? So let's start with the basics. Let's go right to the beginning. In 2024, the UK government did a survey, private landlord survey, and it showed that the median rental income for UK landlords was about 19,200 per year. Not the billions of pounds that's perceived, but 19,200 per year. Also showed that the 19,200 was an increase from 2018, where it was just £15,000, and in 2021, where it was 17,500. The data also showed that over 50% of landlords don't earn over £20,000 per year, and only 15 to 17% of them make more than £50,000 per year from rent. Frankly, it doesn't sound like the Lamborghini money, or the 10-bedroom mansion money, or the 6 cars in the front drive money that landlords are perceived to make and have. When we consider the rise in interest rates, the truth is landlords are paying significantly more in mortgage costs than in previous years. In 2021, specifically October 2021, the average mortgage for landlords was about £800 per month. If we fast forward a couple of years, that average has gone to about £1,300 per month, around a 70% increase. I'm not here to say landlords are the nicest people. We've got some horrible landlords out there, but maybe it's time that we determine our hate, our disdain, our anger, our attitudes towards landlords based on actual data and numbers as opposed to emotion. And I understand, of course, emotions are high. People are spending 50, 60% of their salaries on rent, but it's assumed that 50 and 60% coming from your salary is going into the landlord's pocket, and the landlord is spending it on a flashy lifestyle. But the data indicates otherwise. So if a landlord's mortgage is around £16,000 per year, but their rental income is around £19,000 per year, then we've got to ask ourselves the very honest and truthful question: is there actually any money in being a landlord? Because we haven't talked about all the other costs associated with being a landlord. So let's consider some of those. So let's say the average landlord generate 19,200 per year, and they pay 16,000 per year in mortgage costs, but they've also got to pay maintenance, insurance, estate agent management fees, broker fees, accounting fees. Let's call it around 20% of their income. That's an additional £3,800 paid. So where's all the money that's perceived that landlords are stashing away under their mattresses? Let's look at what they're actually keeping. So gross rent at 19,200, mortgage payments at 16,452, operating expenses 3,500, and that's before tax. The average landlord, based on average numbers, is losing over £1,000 per year. Now, I get the argument, well, as a landlord, if you own a property, you benefit from the capital appreciation, and that is a fair point, but most landlords are investing for the benefit of the rental income. For landlords that own property in a limited company structure, so incorporated landlords, mortgage interest is fully deductible, so you can deduct your mortgage. But if the property is owned in your personal name, you are absolutely screwed. And this is why I wanted to create this video, to have this conversation, that the vast majority of your landlords are not incorporated landlords. Many of them don't hold the property in a company, and if they don't hold the property in a company, a significant amount of them are at a loss. I understand the dynamics. It doesn't feel great that a significant percentage of your salary, your hard-earned salary, what you exchanged your time for on a monthly basis, seemingly disappears from your bank account and seemingly appears in your landlord's bank. But the numbers indicate that many landlords are just about surviving. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact that many landlords will benefit from capital appreciation. So it means they get paid later in the future. But later in the future doesn't pay today's bills. So for landlords that own property personally in their personal name, some of you may know this and some of you might not know this, but mortgage interest relief for people that hold property in their personal name was scrapped in 2020. So now, instead of deducting mortgage interest, they only get a 20% credit. Let me break down what that actually means. This is by no means asking you to have sympathy for landlords. It's just asking you to understand that landlords, by my understanding, are not greedy. they are barely surviving. And I know that's going to be a hard pill to swallow for many people because it's easier to hate landlords. And I don't think landlords are running around asking for sympathy, but I don't think the vitriol, I don't think the hate, I don't think the anger, I don't think blaming landlords for the housing crisis and the debacle we find ourselves in is the solution. So let's talk about your landlords that own property in their personal name. Their taxable income is not their profit. That's crazy. It's their rental income before mortgage interest. So 19,200, that's the numbers we're working on, minus the operating profit, which we said was 3,800. That leaves about £15,000 of taxable income. If you're a high rate taxpayer at 40%, you owe the government around £6,000. If you're a high rate taxpayer, you do get a 20% credit on that mortgage, on your mortgage interest, and that will therefore reduce your £6,000 tax bill to about 2,500. But that's 2,500 from what? It's not based on your profit. It's the same thing as saying to a small business, hey, you cannot deduct all your allowable expenses. You've got to pay us based on your revenue. There will be no businesses left. But even after all of that, their final profit is minus thousands of pounds. So how exactly are landlords becoming rich? How exactly, or where exactly is that perception of landlords driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris and having 100 Rolexes? Where has that come from? Who has sown that seed? Because it only takes lifting up the bonnet and looking underneath the hood to realize that the average landlord isn't making much money. Now, since the average landlord isn't making much in terms of the rental income, they have to rely on capital appreciation, because capital appreciation means the value of your asset going up and you get paid later in the future. But numbers are everything. Numbers are everything. UK house prices are rising. Great. Capital appreciation in the future. Amazing. But the question is, how long will it take a landlord to recoup their initial investment or double their initial investment? You're looking at between 10 to 20 years. So where is the greed? Greed assumes excess. Greed assumes having more than enough. But the data indicates this is not true. Read the government's 2024 private landlord survey. It shows it all. Property is certainly not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not. Are some landlords greedy? Yes, of course they are. Are the majority of landlords greedy? Absolutely not. Some landlords definitely exploit the market. Of course they do. Just like every single industry. Now, I'm not justifying, not saying it's correct, but you can't tarnish an entire industry based on the actions of a few. We wouldn't do that with anything else. But for most landlords, the truth is, most landlords are small landlords. Most landlords are barely breaking even. In fact, most landlords are probably making a loss after mortgage and tax increases. If you want the truth is the system is broken. The housing market in this country is broken. And the government is broken. Governments are making it harder to become landlords, but yet the government can't admit that landlords are propping up nearly 50% of the rental market because our government are not capable of doing so. But people fail to realize how the economy works. The vilification of a group of people tends to have greater impact on the people it's supposed to help. If you vilify landlords to the point of high taxes, high interest, unfavorable laws and regulation, it finds its way back to bite those people that you think you're helping in the butt. It tends to happen in the form of increased rent. So are landlords greedy or are they misunderstood? Hey guys, if you get any value from this video, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below.